60 metres to go. They're still side by side with 50. Lyles trying to find something. He stretches away. It is a global title again for Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles just said something that's going to make Tyreek Hill really mad. The fastest man in the world basically told the NFL star that he could only beat him if their race was really, really short. The Olympic gold winner recently sat down for an interview and basically said Hill could only beat him if their race was super short, like really short. When asked what would worry him about racing the NFL star, Lyles just said 5 meters in grass, and that's it. After that, game over for Hill. But let's back up because this whole thing has been cooking for a while now. These two have been going at each other since 2023, and it's been wild to watch. It all started when Hill came back to track after 9 years away. The guy won a 60-meter race in Kentucky wearing his old high school uniform. Not a big deal, right? Wrong. This lit the fuse for what became the biggest speed rivalry we've seen. Then Lyles made some comments that really got under Hill's skin. After winning big races in 2023, Lyles said American sports teams shouldn't call themselves world champions when they only play in America. He said, world champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong, I love the US, but that ain't the world. Hill didn't like that one bit. So in August 2024, right after Lyles won Olympic gold in Paris, Hill threw down a challenge. He said he could beat Lyles in a 50-yard race. Lyles fired back hard. He couldn't even remember Hill's name at first, calling him
Tyreek Hill's name. People take a listen. Noah, take a look.
What's that guy? What's the cheetah guy from football? What I can't remember his name. Where's Mark? Mark. What's the football player who thinks he's fast's name?
Then, in February, Lyles really turned up the heat. He won a big indoor race and held up a sign that said, Tyreek could never. He even called Hill out in an interview, saying, when you're ready to actually put some words down and actually ready to race, see me. I'm right here. I ain't going nowhere. But all I know is your football season is over. You ain't got no excuse now. Hill wasn't about to let that slide. He went on a podcast and roasted Lyles with video game ratings. He said, that man is soft as hell. He's soft, bro. So, I gotta give bro like a 36, and the only reason he got 36 is because his speed is going to be a 99. Then he added, I got a ton of respect for Noah Lyles, but as far as me competing against him, I hate the dude. By February, both guys said they were going to race for real. People magazine even wrote about it. They were planning something big before the summer track season started. The race was supposed to happen this past weekend in Times Square. Lyles told everyone at an event in France that they had big plans. He said, we were very deep. Times Square and everything.
We were very deep into creating the event. In fact, it was supposed to happen this weekend. Fortunately, there were some things, complications, personal reasons that it just didn't come to pass. But I mean, we were full in. You know, we collected. We can have a big event.
So what happened? Nobody really knows. Lyles just said personal reasons and left it at that. But Hill wasn't going to sit around feeling sorry. Just days before the planned race, he showed up at a track meet in California and ran the 100 meters. Hill clocked 10.15 seconds, which was his best time ever. To put that in perspective, that time would have gotten him into the semifinals at the Olympics. The guy is 31 years old and hadn't run 100 meters since 2014. That's pretty amazing. Right after his race, Hill held up his own sign that said, Noah could never. It was his way of getting back at Lyles for that February stunt. But here's the thing that makes this whole story even better. Hill didn't just stop there. When the race got canceled, he posted a meme on social media showing Homer Simpson disappearing into bushes. Then Hill raced against Lyles' younger brother Josephus and beat him. After winning, he posted, sent his lil bro instead, lol. The trash talk never stops with these guys. But in his latest interview, someone asked him about conditions where Hill might actually have a chance. Lyles thought about it and said the only way Hill could win is in a 5-meter race on grass. After that, what Lyles is basically saying is that Hill might be faster for the first few steps, especially on a football field. But once they get going, it's no contest. And the numbers back this up. Hill's best 100-meter time is 10.15 seconds. That's really good for a football player, but Lyles? His worst 100-meter time in recent years is faster than Hill's best. Lyles won the Olympics in 9.79 seconds. He won the World Championships in 9.83 seconds. When he was just 18 years old, he ran 10.14 seconds. The gap between them is about a quarter of a second. That might not sound like much, but in sprinting, that's huge. But Lyles has made it clear what it would take for this race to happen. He told NBC, "If somebody wants to sponsor the event and we're racing for millions of dollars and it's on a track and we're running 100 meters, then sure, we can race. But it has to be legit. I'm not here to do gimmicks." He's basically saying Hill can't just pick whatever distance he wants. If you want to challenge the fastest man in the world, you have to do it in his event. Lyles added, "You're racing against a guy who has worked his whole life to get the title of the world's fastest man, and you've worked to be a great football player. You can't just jump the line because you're a great football player." Hill wants to race 50 yards because that's more like what he does in football, but Lyles won't budge. It's 100 meters or nothing. Even track legend Michael Johnson, who won 4 Olympic gold medals, thinks this whole thing is silly. When asked about the race, Johnson said, "If it's a track meet, if it's a track race, if it's 100 meters, that's not a race." He's basically saying Lyles would win easily. But you know what? Hill isn't giving up. He said he wants to compete in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles as a track runner, not in flag football. He'll be 35 years old by then, which would be incredible if he could pull it off. Meanwhile, Lyles is dealing with an ankle injury right now, which might be the only reason Hill could beat him if they race today. But Lyles is already looking ahead to 2028 too. He said, "I think of it being my greatest Olympics ever. It's going to be on home soil." The funny thing is, both guys actually respect each other even though they keep talking trash. Hill has said multiple times that he respects Lyles as a runner, and Lyles has praised other NFL players who tried track, like DK Metcalf. What makes this rivalry so fun is that they're both stars in their own sports. Hill is one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's got a $120 million contract with the Miami Dolphins. Lyles is the fastest man on the planet and an Olympic champion. But here's the reality check. Hill is incredibly fast for a football player. He's probably one of the fastest people in the NFL. But Lyles is in a different league when it comes to pure speed.
Africa's 2 fastest men, and it is Akani Simbine who takes the honours ahead of Omanyala, 9:92 unofficially.
At 31 years old, Akani Simbine is rewriting sprinting history, and not in the way most expected. For years, the South African speedster lived in the shadows of track and field legends, dubbed the Nearly Man after multiple 4th and 5th place finishes on the world stage. But in 2025, everything changed. Simbine has done something not even the great Usain Bolt ever achieved: run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds for 11 consecutive seasons. Earlier this year in Botswana, Simbine shocked the athletics world by clocking a blistering 9.90 seconds in the 100 meters. That wasn't just another race win, it was history in motion. With that time, he became the first athlete in history to run sub-10 for 11 straight years, surpassing the previous record of 10 held by none other than Bolt himself. The moment earned him a new moniker, the Sub-10 King.
Coming back at the right time.
Yeah,
Champs.
for sure. I think everybody just forgets that it's a long season, and I did a whole new approach to the season. And during March, April, I'm always in a big, heavy training block, which I had to.
But for Simbine, it wasn't just about the record. It was a culmination of years of resilience, relentless training, and a refusal to be defined by near misses. Having that tag as the Nearly Man, it's noise at the end of the day, he told BBC Sport. "I always show up. I get disappointed, but my family says being disappointed with 4th in the world is a bit crazy, because you are the 4th fastest person alive." It's not like Simbine hasn't been close before. At the Olympics and World Championships, he's been consistently knocking on the door. 5th at Rio 2016, 4th at Tokyo 2020, and again 4th in Paris 2024. Even after running a national record 9.82. Despite these crushing results, he never let the setbacks define his career. In fact, 2024 offered a turning point. While he missed the individual medal in Paris, he anchored South Africa to a silver medal in the 4x100-meter relay, his first Olympic hardware. A few months later, he followed it up with a bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships in Nanjing in the 60-meter event. For a man long overlooked on the podium, it was long overdue recognition. Simbine has exploded into 2025 with unstoppable momentum. Undefeated in the 100 meters so far this year, he's taken gold in nearly every meet he's entered, from Xiamen to Kekio, from Rabat to Atlanta. He even helped South Africa secure gold at the World Relays in Guangzhou, proving that both individually and as part of a team, He's in the best shape of his life. His secret? Preparation. I just think it comes from having a really great indoor season. He explained his focus on the 60-meter race early in the year sharpened his explosive start and final acceleration. Usually, around this time, I would clock a high 9.9. That's been the norm. But I'm running consistent sub-10 seconds because of the work we've done for 60 meters. Even as critics harped on his lack of individual Olympic medals, Simbine never let that define his legacy. The medals are not my story. The medals are just the cherry on top, he said. If you look at my career and look at what I've done, it's a successful career. And he's not wrong. He's broken barriers no one else has, becoming the first South African in an Olympic 100-meter final, mentoring younger African sprinters, and proving that elite sprinting is not limited to just the US and Jamaica. What he's done for South Africa and the continent at large is arguably more impactful than a shelf full of medals. I could have won medals and had a different story, and it wouldn't have been as powerful as where I'm at right now, he said. He sees himself as a torchbearer for future African sprinters, a symbol of what's possible. Simbine's story isn't just one of triumphs, it's about how he's handled the lows. In 2023, he was disqualified for a false start in the semifinals at the World Championships in Budapest. It was a gut punch. Many would have let that break them. Simbine didn't. I was in the shape of my life. We know what I could have given. And yes, there was disappointment to it, he admitted, but I can't sit in this feeling of negativity and let it eat me up. Instead, he channeled the setback into fuel. That mental resilience is part of what's kept him performing at a world-class level into his 30s, a rare feat in sprinting. Despite his age, Simbine isn't slowing down. He's still hungry, still pushing, still chasing new heights. He's already got his eyes on the World Championships in Tokyo this September and even hinted at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. The 2028 Games is definitely the plan, but it might be my last Olympics. We'll see what the body says, he said, but with the system he's built around him, a dedicated coach, physio, and tight-knit team, he's confident he can continue breaking boundaries. I take every year as it comes, he explained. That's one of the benefits. I have a great team around me. That's what's kept me in the game this long. For all his resilience, mentorship, and consistency, it's the record that crystallizes Simbine's unique greatness. 11 consecutive seasons running under 10 seconds in the 100-meter isn't just rare, it's unprecedented. Bolt, widely considered the greatest sprinter of all time, couldn't do it. Injuries, off-seasons, and occasional losses of form interrupted even his dominance. But Simbine, year after year, without fail, he showed up and delivered. You have to realize that what I've been doing in the sport for South Africa and for Africa is a first, Simbine said. That is developing so many athletes after me, and for me, that's a very powerful position. In an event that demands perfection down to the 100th of a second, Simbine has found a way to be relentlessly consistent. That kind of durability, combined with elite performance, is almost unheard of in sprinting. Born on September 21, 1993 in Kempton Park, Gauteng, Simbine wasn't always the favorite to make it big. He studied information science at the University of Pretoria, where he trained under coach Werner Prinsloo. It was there, with a solid academic foundation and strong coaching support, that he began transforming into Africa's fastest man. Standing at 176 centimeters and weighing 74 kilograms, Simbine may not be the most physically imposing sprinter on the track, but he makes up for it with technical precision and explosive power. His personal best of 9.82 seconds, set in Paris during the 2024 Olympics, is a South African national record. He's also clocked an impressive 19.95 seconds in the 200 meters and 15.08 in the rarely run 150 meters. Beyond just competing, Simbine has consistently been a medal contender in global competitions. He won gold at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in the 100 meters and was a multiple-time African champion. At the 2021 World Relays, he delivered a clutch anchor leg to bring home gold for South Africa, showing not only individual brilliance, but also composure under pressure. He's also represented Africa at the Continental Cup and has a growing collection of medals across the Commonwealth Games, African Championships, and Universiade. With every season, he's added new layers to a career built not just on speed, but on tenacity. As he stands on the brink of the 2025 World Championships, Simbine has one message: he's far from finished. "There's still more in the tank," he said, "and I'm not done yet." Whether or not he grabs that elusive individual gold, Akani Simbine has already cemented his legacy. He's defied expectations, silenced critics, and done something no one, not even Bolt, has ever done. And in doing so, he's reshaped what greatness looks like in the world of sprinting. The nearly man is now a history maker. And the story isn't over yet. In just 9 seconds, something happened that no one saw coming. It was quiet, fast, and left people speechless. On a cool night in August 2025, a runner did something that changed everything. But what really happened on that track? And why are people still talking about it today? This is the story of Akani Simbine, and it starts with a question no one can answer yet. First off, let's set the scene. It's the 2025 Diamond League Final in Zurich, held August 27th and 28th. The event is the climax of a long season, 14 Diamond League meets across the world, culminating here at Letzigrund Stadium. Every athlete here, every sprint, every leap, every throw, carries more weight than any other meet outside a global championship. Simbine had one of those seasons that felt urgent, that seemed to need a statement. He began in 2025 winning bronze in the 60 meters at the World Indoor Championships. It was his first global individual medal, signaling he was still dangerous in the short sprint. In the outdoor season, he became the only man in history to run sub 10 seconds in the 100 meters for 11 consecutive years. That streak ended only because no one else has done it ever. He ran 9.90 seconds at the Botswana Grand Prix, a world-leading time. Then he rattled off Diamond League golds. First with a 9.99 in Xiamen, then victories in Atlanta, 9.86, and Rabat, 9.95. He was building momentum, reminding fans and rivals that the spark hadn't faded. But still, doubts lingered. With a season full of ups and downs, impressive wins punctuated by ordinary performances, the question was whether he could rise when the pressure was highest, when it mattered most. The answer came in Zurich. Christian Coleman, the American champion, turned in a 9.97-second run to win the men's 100-meter. Akani Simbine followed just 1/100th of a second behind, crossing in a blistering 9.98. It was as close as it gets. One lean, one breath, one instant. Akeem Blake took third in 9.99. It was a blanket finish, heart-stopping in its intensity. For Simbine, it was redemption. He had silenced the whispers that his best days were behind him. In Zurich's biggest spotlight, he stood tall, proving he still belongs among the world's elite. And more than that, he delivered on the promise of his season. And think about what that says going into the World Championships. A runner who can haul up to a 9.98 in the biggest Diamond League final after a season of battling back and forth between brilliance and inconsistency. It says, he isn't just ready, he's dangerous. He looked in form, in rhythm, in fight. The world's best were there in Zurich. Noah Lyles won his 6th Diamond League final with a stunning 19.74 in the 200 meters. Julian Alfred came back from injury to win the women's 100 meters in 10.76. The bar was high, the pressure intense. And by nailing second place in his event under that pressure, Simbine said more about his readiness than any words ever could. Let's break down what that means. He's raced fast all season, but now he's done it when it counts most. To run 9.98 in that moment shows sharpness, composure, and a willingness to fight. It shows he can deliver under fire. That's exactly the kind of mindset that breeds success in Tokyo at the World Championships. We've seen in recent years how championship sprint finals are won by inches and often by nerves. Simbine has the experience, the history of national records and global finals, and now this, the confidence of a big stage podium finish. That matters. What makes this even more compelling is how he navigated the season. He didn't coast to Zurich on purely dominating runs. Instead, he had to find form after obstacles. That journey built resilience. It tells us he's not just peaking physically, he's peaking mentally too. And look at the narrative. Once doubted, now a comeback hero. That's the storyline people connect with. Fans love a comeback. They love resilience, belief, faith rewarded. Simbine is giving them just that. His season may have wobbled, but his finish was sharp. But it's more than the numbers. It's the way he holds himself on the track. The focus in his eyes when he steps into the blocks, the calm energy before the gun, the drive out of the start, the lift in his knees, the way he doesn't fade under pressure. All of it speaks to an athlete who has matured, not just in speed, but in presence. In Zurich, he didn't just run, he performed. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Coleman, a world champion, and matched him stride for stride. In many ways, Simbine's journey mirrors that of the greatest athletes, the ones who reach the top, stumble, and find their way back with grit rather than glamour. He's not flashy. He doesn't talk much trash, but his performances speak volumes. This is a man who has faced heartbreak, like missing the Olympic podium by milliseconds, and still comes back with his head high. And there's a deeper story too. For years, Simbine has carried the hopes of South Africa, a country where sprinting wasn't always the main stage. He changed that. He became the face of speed in his nation, a role model not just for athletes, but for resilience itself. And after every fall, he's gotten up faster. This season was no different. Early races brought questions. Was his time running out? Was the next generation about to take over? Young sprinters like Letziel Tebogo and Oblique Seville were making noise. The spotlight was shifting. And yet, in Zurich, Simbine reminded them all, experience matters, timing matters, delivering when it counts matters more than hype.